Welcome to Political Scream. Welcome to Political Scream. Welcome to Political Scream. Welcome to Political.
We're at critical mass. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen.
Critical mass. Whoa, whoa.
We're opening up with Jaw Kings.
Critical mass. Whoa, whoa.
Join the chat and the conversation by clicking the link.
Critical mass. Whoa, whoa.
And we'll be right back.
How much longer can our mother take this pain while mankind busy fussing and fighting, arguing about climate change? Won't listen to the wisdom of my indigenous people. Amazingly, right before my eyes, I've seen plenty transmuting into sheeple. Transmuting into sheeple, that's why we got critical mass. Whoa, whoa. We're at critical mass. Whoa, whoa. Critical mass. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa.
Yes. What a state of the union we're in. State of the union, that private part that I shall not mention. Oh, wow. So, shooter last night, the gunman, Uber driver driving around Michigan and taking people to stops and then killing people and picking up new people and dropping them off and then murdering some other random people. And so on and so on. I guess he did 3 different stops in between. Dude, it is just crazy. Okay, it's all over the news. Okay, do you really need to go in? Why did this guy do this? Oh, we need to cover every last thing. Oh, we're going to talk to his grandmother's third uncle's cousins blah, blah, and every person that got in his cab. Really? Okay, it's really not complicated. When somebody is just taking life without reason or purpose, and it's not based on being exiled, bullied, or ostracized, which is 90% of violence in this country, and the other 5% is from domestic jealousy and abuse, and the other 5% is just plain freaking bonkers, nuts. There is no excuse. I mean, you're looking for empty answers. Why did this guy? Because he was mental, people. Mental. There is no explanation for mental. Whether it was from the way he was raised, eating Monsanto poisoning, drinking fluorinated water, which is already shown to crystallize your pineal gland and disconnect you from the spiritual connection of all things, which does exist, by the way, you religious hypocrites. The spirit is very real. It moves all things. But this is political scream. This is about, looking at what's going on in our society and not really taking a stance one way or other, except for on the fact of nationalism and our Constitution, which embraces the fact that we are of all races, all religions, all cultures, all under one constitutional protection. To be this is to be a nationalist. If you support the concept that it doesn't matter if you're male, female, black, white, gay, lesbian, straight, hetero, Christian, Muslim, whatever, that we all are deserving of the same human rights, then you are a true American. But as soon as you start ostracizing, pointing your finger, exiling, and being an elitist, and farming people with lies and deception, then you are the actual axis of evil and the demons and wolves in sheep's clothing that are running our country. See, out of one side of their head, they preach equality, they preach this, they preach that. Once they get elected, they go into office, and then they become an elitist. You know, when they say the establishment choice, that's basically saying placed corporate agent choice. The people on the Hill and in our government that are the establishment have been placed there by corporate interests. It works like this. Say I own a multi-billion-dollar company and I'm wanting to release something that may be a little questionable, but I'm having problems with Congress and the Hill in allowing this to get passed to the public sector. Well, instead of going through the rigmarole of following laws, I just invest $10, $15 million in one of my best and most, dedicated and loyal agents in my corporation. And I say, Bob, we're going to put you on a different path for about 5 years. I'm going to offer you this, this, and this under the condition that when you get there in office, you're going to make sure that my product can get out to the public. Oh, no problem. Okay, 99.9% of the time that works, which means they're basically kidnapping our government, which is treason. The other 1%, they get into office and then ixnay the person that got them there after they spent $14, $15 million to get them in the seat. And to them, I say, bravo, but you're also a piece of crap because you also lied and deceived to get into power, and now you're just part of the establishment. So, that is our problem, people, is that we need to recall our troops. We need to go into Washington, detain everybody, and pull every file and every cabinet out and look and investigate. And those that are found guilty of treasonous acts need to be persecuted as such. The Constitution should not protect crooked politicians that are kidnapping our republic for the benefit of a few money holders so that they can get back pocket deals. Now, while these people are all preaching that Bernie Sanders is a socialist, okay, politics is a socialist organization. The government, in its military aspect, is socialist. Socialist means that a group of people, a country, a mass of people, their money goes to pay for a functioning section of their society. So when we pay political welfare to our politicians, they get better welfare and health insurance coverages than our poorest people. While they have the money to pay for their own insurance, they don't. We give them better insurance than the poorest people in the country. Yet 90% of them don't do anything. People in politics. So they don't like people on welfare, but they're on better welfare than the poor. The poor have bad guidance to balancing budgets, using market economy, education. It's all bias. While they're teaching you bullshit that isn't really real history in public schools and colleges, over at the private fraternities and sorority controlled colleges and private schools, they're actually learning the history that they rewrote, the rich rewrote. So our entire system is corrupted. What needs to happen is we need to go in on state, federal, and city level, wipe out all the Zion and neo-Christian fascists that have kidnapped our police, kidnapped our communities, locked down and made it a pay for fees market instead of a free market. You know, a free market is when I have a business idea and a product and I can just go up and open a shop and people can come and freelance and work and create product and be paid by the piece if they want. That's a free market. But in order for me to open the door, I got to pay a bunch of zealots money and fees and fines when they don't do anything to make my business launch. So basically, we've got a bunch of oligarchical and bureaucratic facilities in place from the city all the way up to the federal level that are put in place to protect us, but in all actuality, it's a total contradiction of what it is to begin with. Like the right to work is more or less the right to be blacklisted. It means they can fire you and not give you a good review even though you made them money for 5 years. You know, like when I worked for Teletech and Hewlett-Packard, I made them money. They hired me at $12 an hour, promising me raises, never gave me raises, and, you know, I ended up leaving. But because I ended up leaving and they didn't fire me, I could not get unemployment. And I left out of the disrespect that they had for me and working me for 3 years at $12 an hour when I was profiting them $3,500 plus a month with no commission and no raise for 3 years. I mean, that's fascist. It is corporate corruption and needs to be stopped. This is the problem with our country. If you notice, the products and services in this country have not decreased in value, even though they're going overseas and they're making these products now, not on our labor and not on protected labor where these people have rights over there. They even have child labor in these countries. So they're paying 1% of what they paid us to make these products and services, and they're still charging us full price, even though they're not giving us fucking jobs. So it makes no sense. You should go over and find our Facebook site, Political Scream. You can look it up on Facebook, Political Scream, facebook.com/groups/Political Scream, one word. Adderall is legal speed, and it's sending young adults to the ER. What do you know? You know, the evolution of God was the mother goddess, you know, that bulbous chick, then the Egyptians, then the Roman gods, then Jesus, and now it's the dollar bill, hypocritically. So while they preach peace, they are raping the poor. Police are shooting people with their hands up in the face on excuses. It's just disgusting. If even a brainwashed masses of Americans, if you cannot see that there are wolves in sheep's clothing in our pulpits as they're preaching and citizens are being murdered outside their church door, on the stages of political rallies that speak out of the side of their neck. I mean, it's just disgusting. Hillary Clinton is being indicted on so many damn things and nobody has done anything about it, and she's even legitimately being considered to run for president because she's got a vagina? I mean, really? There are much better women out there in the political atmosphere with vaginas that are 150 times what she is not. Okay? Which is sincere. They got caught cheating the polls in Iowa, the caucus, flip coin scams and hand tricks and running people between caucus station to weigh the votes. Then they got caught in Nevada, even though they won, I call it a lie. they're claiming that they're part of the nurses union and have their own people dressing up like them to look like they're nurses. To sway the mind. This whole lies and deception in politics and taking corporate money should be illegal. And those that get caught should be charged for treason to a just republic. Oh my God. Another thing just happened here in town recently, right in Springfield yesterday. I just have to ask, so when does a person threatening to commit suicide desire the attention of SWAT and military-grade police vehicles and over 20, 30 guns pointed at your house? That really sounds like a great way to deal with somebody that's suicidal, right? The thing that really bothers me is that I started this life as a devout Baptist, and I left that church because they were hypocrites. And I have seen nothing but Christian hypocrites my entire life and Bible thumpers that don't live by true Christian value. So, to me, Christianity is a lie. 90% of those I've run into are hypocrites. Complete and utter hypocrites. The whole what would Jesus do? Nothing that you people are doing. Seriously. Like in Springfield, everything is run by Christian sub-cult communities, including the Chamber of Commerce. They've literally made it illegal to feed the homeless if you're not a church so you can get a tax write-off for giving out charity. Literally. That is the axis of evil. Money over God. Oh, just makes me so angry. First of its kind domestic violence shelter for all male victims opens in Arkansas. It's about time that men are actually given equal rights in something. We're always the ones that are the predators, you know, when I personally in my life have been taken advantage of by hundreds of women throughout my life, whether they use me as a paycheck or whatever. Don't you love how Big Pharma pumps poisonous and addictive prescription man-made pills down our throat while they deny us God's earth-created plant that has no addiction or overdose or anything? Just take it with a gallon of water and some sarcasm. When you exile or outcast someone in high school, on the job, in public, it's a negative act. And karma is a bitch. So most cases of violence were first ignited by browbeating and click-pecking orders. So be a bully, pick on others, and make them outcast, and then you push them out of your little community. Don't be surprised when those you've unrighteously outcast, which isn't very spiritual or religious at all, that they come back at you with karmic revenge and maybe even kill a few of your hypocritical shitbags in the process. All I can say is that the herd mentality is the enabling of demonic and satanic living, which starts with outcasting others, which is truly unholy. I would have to say that over the last 4 years, more and more evidence has come to light that not only police but investigators and complete investigations have been revealed time and time again. Now that we have more means with technology of revealing these liars and shitbags in our community of trusted leadership positions. Police and investigators that go into private or business locations to gather evidence, I believe that that needs to be the beginning of ending the bull. I think that we need to reinforce this with third-party monitoring with cameras or people on site that watch each and every individual person on that scene of evidence the entirety of the time they are there and video document it all. Because we have found time and time again that there will be police grudges either in their personal life or on the job between taxpayers or welfare people or the homeless in their communities. And then they go out and they murder them and then set up the whole scene that this guy or girl or whatever they were freaking oppressing was the bad guy. I mean, literally, if I was a police station and you made me mad, the way our system is right now, I could point you out. I could label you as a terrorist or whatever I wanted. I could convince my police officers that that was the reality. They would legitimately quarantine the entire 5-block radius around your house while I have my shitbag buddy go in and murder everybody, including you, and then plant the gun on you and claim that you did it all. I mean, that's literally what can be done right now by the police. They can literally go in, block off 5 blocks, shoot everybody and kill them, plant the gun on one person and claim that they murdered everybody. That is the reality. Right now, the authority has 150% control of all the evidence, the courts, the judges, and it's all corrupt and owned by the money changers of the global bank that control our chambers of commerce all the way down to the city and state level from other countries that ironically are socialist democracies. All these crooked politicians and officials in law enforcement, courts, and everything else, and the elitist 1% of billionaires in this country, while they slam us for wanting equality and social ideals as a foundation underneath the democracy, first, as a safety net, we are communists. But it's okay for them to steal and rob from us while they take the money that they've stolen and put it in offshore banks in social democratic countries. So you tell me, social democracy is bad, says the politician, as they steal money from the American people and put it in a country that is a social democracy with a very big Swiss bank. Social democracy is communism. While they have a summer home in the Netherlands, Switzerland. Come on. Debtor prisons are not only alive, but they're literally killing people. They're people farming, they're foster farming, and it's all backed by the police, the Chamber of Commerce, and it's all a fascist, corporate, religious zealot organization. We are no different than medieval Europe of small barons and ignorant dictators, except for we have modern descriptions for their titles and positions. It's the same damn thing. The city police are the castle guard who back in the Middle Ages used to murder, rape whoever they wanted, steal whatever they wanted, just like they do in third world countries. It's happening right here in the United States. And they serve the Chamber of Commerce, which serves and is run by a panel of the richest and the most elite of the intellectual Satanists in our community that do a really good job at portraying themselves as being devout Christians and religious followers of doctrine, when in fact they are literally feeding off every dark malcontent that can be fed off of within our society, and they profit from it. Honestly, people, if you're from a poor family, you are economically unviable. They make more money off of you in 1 year of sitting in prison as a government than you working a 9-to-5 job for a year because they give you your taxes back. If they can find a way to stick you in prison and collect federal money, it's 100% profit. I know that over 20 years ago, the amount of money issued per one inmate was about $35,000 to a state facility per year, per inmate. And because they provided so many on-site services such as clothing, haircuts, food, was on a farm off-site run by minimum outs and all that stuff, they spent maybe $500 to $1,000 a year per inmate. So 20 years ago, they were net grossing $34,000 per year per inmate. So you can see where if you're from a poor family, you're screwed to begin with if you don't kiss their ass, because they'll just say screw you and throw you in a prison and make money off you for the next 20 years. They don't care. There is no rehabilitation because it's profitable if you turn into a career criminal once you're released and violate again and come back. All of them should be held accountable. Everyone running these places, the wardens, the prisons, the city, state, and police officials, along with the courts that are all involved with this people farming organization, which is also doing it through foster care and stealing people's kids who are getting raped and murdered by foster people that take them in. And it's documented. It's all over. We do thank you for listening to Political Scream. We're down to 18 minutes. Here's Fireman Stomp. It's Jaw Kings.
Yeah, yeah. True story. Fresh wounded me. It's a fireman storm tonight. It's a fireman storm. Yes, I'm a firekeeper. Yes, I love it. Fire centers I connection to your spirit. So I was about to change my shift. And we notice changes in your atmosphere. When it came over the hill, the storm came. Whistling over the hill. Got to keep the sacred fire alive. Got to keep the sacred fire alive. Got to keep the sacred fire alive. This is a fireman song tonight. With your fire keepers, I and I. This ain't no place for fear no doubt. Lightning, wind, rain, and thunder all about. Fire keeper, yes I. Fireman storm tonight. Hey. Keep your commitments, then take courage. These are matters of the heart, so surely come running with the tarp. Don, Fritz, and Alan too. Me, Dan, and Nathan, you made up your crew. Got to keep the sacred fire alive. Got to keep the sacred fire alive. Got to keep the sacred fire alive.
I'm sorry, guys. I really have to talk about this.
Yes,
They're saying that some of the massacre victims urge Apple to work with the FBI. And you know what I say to them? Screw you. Because the reality here is that those people were Muslim and it was a workplace dispute. So just because they were Muslim, a postal situation, like a postal firework, postal worker situation, which is known throughout history, postal workers going postal, that's where it came from. None of them were Muslim. They weren't labeled terrorists because they went in and shot their co-workers at the post office. Okay? But because these people were Muslim and likely being bullied, ostracized, probably refused pay and raises and promotions because they were Muslim, because of our neo-fascist corporate Christian zealot hypocrite culture that is allowed to operate and run businesses as legitimate constitutional organizations in this country, they're the ones that caused that massacre. I guarantee you that the people, that guy and his wife went to that place and shot everybody. It was a disgruntled worker situation. They were being judged and treated differently on discrimination because they were Muslim. So they went to work and killed people that, in my opinion, probably should have been dead to begin with. Because, I'm sorry, I don't care what religion you claim you are. If you run a business, it has to be secular. Okay? You can't decide who is going to get raises, this and that, on your religious belief. Business is not religion. Religion belongs in the church, not in your company, and not in my frickin' People's Republic that is supposed to be secular. So, I don't believe Apple should release any kind of hack or crack for that phone because the entire thing is made up and accusations in the first place just because that they were Muslim. I call bullshit. 45 minutes of political scream. You know what? Rush Limbaugh is a complete fucking idiot, along with every other right-wing radio out there. They absolutely put no scientific fact at all in anything that comes out of their mouth, let alone any social psychology, political science, or general run-of-the-mill basic human psychology. So, for people to be rallying and all this behind Rush Limbaugh and all those right-wing radio stations, and then morons like Trump. Okay, I'll tell you, our government does need a battering ram to go up in there and smash the gates of injustice that is now the Fed. Because it's all controlled by seats of power that are owned and controlled by private corporations through placement of officials. Like I said, the only way to get beyond this is to just go to the Hill with our military, remove them all real quietly, throw them in a federal containment facility until we can go through all of their data and persecute the ones that are corrupt shitbags of big corporations and remove them from office. I'm sorry, if you're in city, state, or federal leadership position, the only pocket that you should be getting lined is your people pocket. Okay? Your income, your health insurance, all that should be paid out of your pocket, not ours. You should not be getting severance for your position when you leave and a retirement and blah, blah. This is where our debt's coming from. No. Career politics needs to die. You either donate your time and work and get the money while you're in office and then leave and use your great deeds, your good works in office to get a good job placement in a corporation or other business after you leave office. That's how the system should work. Not this career politician crap and us paying for Secret Service for every damn president that's gone through the ringer and cutting them checks every year even though they don't serve. Screw that. Government welfare of politicians needs to end, and all these crooked bastards will get out of office. Wake up, people. We have the right under the Constitution to demand an unbiased federal government, which means it's non-religious, secular in religion. It is not influenced by favors to one particular party or another, period, ever. Take away all company contributions to any politician. There is nothing, no, never, no. The only money politicians are allowed to take and spend is money from individual voters. Destroy the super PACs. It needs to die. This other elitist party vote system where they get to pick candidates over the votes of the masses, that needs to go. That's unconstitutional. The vote belongs to the people and the republic and not a small group of elitists who their minority vote overrides a majority of hundreds of thousands and even millions of people over 7 or 9 retards on the goddamn political welfare system, and they vote for whatever candidate is going to butt buddy them once they're in office. It's bullshit. It needs to stop. It's unconstitutional to our electoral situation, and our campaigning situation. And if anybody wants to go on TV, news, media, or otherwise, it's free to broadcast. So if you're a news outlet and you want to be part of the action, you don't get any money ever from a candidate coming onto your show. And if you're going to air one, you've got to air everyone that wants to be on there to get an equal share of airtime. All this bias, elitist bullshit needs to stop. And honestly, the way that our country is acting doesn't act like a bunch of intellectual people that can even pass an IQ test. Even our leaders. Nothing is common sense. Nothing is based on fact. Nothing is based on reality. It's all based on assumptions and opinions, and it's all bullshit. It needs to stop, people. You're acting like freaking high school and junior high kids. I mean, really? I think the party system needs to just be abolished. It needs to just go. Because the Republican Party is corrupt on the far right in the pocket of big business, and so is the left. So you're either establishment bought by big business, left or right, or you're not. It's plain and simple. You're either in the middle, or you're on the left or right and in someone's pocket. Let's get with reality, people. You know, you either point your political ideals and spectrum on reality, fact, or it's opinion and assumption. And we know what that means, right? Opinion and assumption. You've been listening to Political Scream. Come and find me online at facebook.com/group/Political Scream. And, all right. So, anyway, I don't know. It just blows my mind, the condition of this country, and all these pseudo-intellectuals claiming that they're oh so smart, and then I read something they post, and there is no logic or fact or anything to it. Okay? Religion should have nothing to do with our politics, period, ever. Or any kind of state, city, or federal services. They're all non-secular. I don't know how stupid you have to be to not understand what that means. That means that under our Constitution, it's meant that we're all to be equal, regardless of your religion, your color, or your sexual orientation. That's not that hard of a concept to grasp. And that we have the right to bear arms against an oppressive, treasonous government. And that we also have the ability to recall our military in the time of distress by flying our flags upside down to let our troops know that their services are needed on the Hill and to clean out the White House while we investigate these demons, these wolves in sheep's clothing in our pulpits and on our stages, in our churches, and in our government, from the city, the state, and all the way to the Fed. You've been listening to Political Scream.
You're listening to Political Scream. News, rants, and rants from around the world. Welcome to Political Scream. Welcome to Political Scream. to Political Scream. Welcome to Political Scream.
We're at critical mass. Whoa, whoa. Critical mass. Whoa, whoa. Critical mass. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa. How much longer can our mother take this pain while mankind busy fussing and fighting, arguing about climate change? Won't listen to the wisdom of my indigenous people. Amazingly, right before my eyes, I've seen plenty transmuting into sheeple. That's why we got critical mass. Whoa. We're at critical mass. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa. Long enough to see what a quan in your world and your land. Like ashes, yes, man, I'd rather bury his head deep in the sand. That's why then I see corruption on so many levels. This is why divide and conquer has been so successful to this day. In Babylon, there's greed and vanity, yeah. In the indigenous languages, there's no word for I, only we, yeah. That's why we're at this boiling point. But it's Jaja who shall have the last line. Jaja who shall know. And this our critical mass. Whoa. We're at critical mass. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa. Critical mass. Whoa.